Okay, this is March, and this is the first time I've looked at the charts today. I've been out all day and did not trade today. So, last we reported last night is that as long as we held above this 3884 area, which we did, we would continue up. And we did. So we have the A, B, C to the upside on the 1-hour chart. And we are targeting the 4105 area. Looks to me like we're forming a bull flag here. Something like a bull flag, or maybe a triangle of some sort. I wouldn't really call this a bull flag at all. Actually, that kind of looks like a pattern that will create a little bit of a retracement. But I'm going to go, and the retracement could cause a bull flag once the retracement's done. And what I'm thinking is maybe possibly test this 50 EMA on the 1-hour chart. So I'm kind of looking for it to form a bull flag, possibly. Let's just anticipate this, something like this. Okay. So we'll just anticipate that. Just keep an eye on it for a possible bull flag formation. Okay. So I am looking for a dip and then continuation up to 4105 on this hourly chart. We could even have a deeper pullback, because I'm kind of doing this backwards today. I usually start with the 1-hour and the 4-hour charts, or the daily and the 4-hour. Because if we look at the 30-minute chart, and as you notice I haven't changed anything from yesterday, and we fib from the most recent low to high, we'll see a 50% retracement comes in around 39.59. Where is that at on the 1-hour chart? On the 1-hour chart, 39.59 is a little lower than the right about this red line here. So that is a possibility. Okay. So the first thing we're looking at is buying dips. And on the 1-hour chart, we're looking at maybe testing the 50 EMA and targeting 4105. Okay. Watching on the 30-minute chart the dip on these levels, and the 15-minute chart here, same as the 30 really, but it does have the look also of maybe pulling back to the 50 EMA on the hourly possibly. Now let's take a look at the daily chart here. First of all, let's take a look at the weekly and see where we're at on that. Alright, on the weekly chart, we closed above this trend line last week. So far this week we've held above the trend line. We spiked down below it, but we've held above it. Okay, looks to me like this weekly chart's going up here to test this major trend line. And if we look here, let me decrease this a little. There's a pretty nice trend line coming down. So it looks to me like it's keep buying the dips until we reach this trend line. At that point, I expect maybe a pullback to about this level for another round of buying on the smaller time frames. That's just a look into the future a little bit. That may not happen. And then looking at the daily chart, let me pause this for just a minute here. Okay, looking at the daily chart, we have our inverse head and shoulders there. It's kind of like a double head, and that target's all the way up here at 46.17. We have the ABC long, which targets 44.18. Okay, and I'm going to have to pause this again for a second. Okay, so on the daily chart, we talked about the inverse head and shoulders here, actually a double head in some sort of a way. Okay, we don't know if it'll reach its target, but I tell you, a lot of times it does. We have an ABC to the upside, targeting 44.18. And if you notice today, these FEs are pretty accurate. If you notice today, went straight to the FE 61.8, broke just above it in order to take out this high here of 40.35. Now the thing is here is we made a high today of 40.51. That's not that much, that's 15-16 pips higher than this high. So we could just be taking out stops to turn around. This is where we have to be careful to turn around and shoot back down. If we close above this FE 61.8, then the possibilities of continuing up are real good. So, be careful buying the dips. Of course, that's my plan is buying the dips, but just, in these circumstances that we're having with Japan and stuff, just make sure those hard stops are in place. You're better off to lose 30 or so pips than to be caught off guard, maybe not at your computer, and taking a big loss. So just always keep that in mind. But anyways, the chart has the look of continuing up. We closed, a bullish engulfing candle here with decently high volume. So there is a good possibility we're just going to dip down on the 1 hour chart like I said before, and then head back up. Okay, then on the 4 hour chart, this ABC pattern is basically the same as on the 1 hour. It's just a few pips off. 41.08 is its target as opposed to 41.05, and I could just, not have these fibs perfect. But anyways, we have this ABC long. We have the inverse head and shoulders. We broke above the neckline here. And let me expand this. Broke above the neckline. Actually, last night we came down on a 1 hour chart and almost tested C. But we did hold above that 38.84. Broke above the neckline, held above the neckline. We're probably going to test the neckline around this 39.81, or like I said on the hourly chart, 39, 50 to 70 area. So, watch the 30 in the 1 hour chart for entries. Possibly even the 15-minute chart for price action to enter to give you your buy signal, is what I'm thinking. So, we can maybe plan on a test of the neckline here. If you look at this RSX here that I use, you'll see that we have a little bit of bearish divergence, just maybe a tad bit, but we are coming off the top, so it's pretty likely that we're going to come down a bit in order to buy the dips. So I really like this 4 hour chart. The inverse head and shoulders target is 42.53. I think we're headed for that. So my plan is to continue buying dips. And when I was checking out the dollar index just recently, looks to me like the dollar index is wanting to target the 74.61 area. If it breaks below this 76.08, 76.00, it's likely that we will, with some pullbacks here and there, nothing goes in a straight line, but it's very possible that we'll see this 74.61 on the dollar index, which will bring in some daily targets on the euro dollar, probably the at least the 42 area, if not the 44 area. So that's just what I'm looking at. I'm still in buy the dip modes. Watch the lower time frames for your signals. Have your stops in place, hard stops, because Anything that happens, like what happened yesterday, can cause you a real problem. So happy trading. This is March 17th, 2011.